Yeah, you're welcome. So the major thing in the news today is that dancehall artist affiliated to Alliance, Assailant, was murdered in California. And I just want to take this opportunity to say condolences, to the family and RIP to Assailant. Assailant has been doing music for a very long time, and was recruited to the Alliance in the 2000s, early 2000s, and he wasn't one of those artists who rose to prominence, because he shortly migrated. And our artists are ready for artists to break in dancehall music when they are living overseas. It is a very difficult field, and only few have managed to do it. But nevertheless, Assailant was a very good artist. He kind of sounds like Busy Signal sometimes. And has a similar type of cadence and pattern. He was very popular in his birth parish, Clarendon, especially Maypen, damn near a legend in Maypen, He used to perform at shows like, Easter Fiesta, like Island Explosion, and those shows that are big, or were big in the in the Clarendon area, especially during the days when, shower parties were at their peak, and spearheaded by strongman Jerome himself, but he migrated abruptly, when his career was at its peak locally, and he wasn't heard from for a long time, until recently, it started to circulate that he was working with Shaggy, and was doing some writing. He also has a collaboration with Shaggy right now, and he was gaining some traction, with many persons saying, well, at least he found a niche and someone is giving him another shot, since it didn't work out on the Bounty Killers tutelage all those years. So many persons were happy for him and were, anticipating that bigger and better things were going to come out of his collaborations with Shaggy. And so to hear that he lost his life in such a tragic way, it's very unfortunate, I couldn't be at a worse time, when the artist is ascending to the top. But you know what they say, whenever you think it's peace and safety, it's sudden destruction, and whenever, you are calming down and you're putting certain things behind you, that is when your enemies tend to strike. And also, your enemies, they tend to get nervous when they see you rising, because, many times they don't want to see their rivals going to the highest level and they are stuck in a particular position, so even if your enemy was going to let you slide for a period of time, once they notice that you are starting to ascend, and you are basically like, you don't have to be literally stunting on them or whatever, but just the fear factor of you rising up, will sometimes cause your enemies to try to put a stop to it. And so, Assailant met his demise. People like Scatterburrell, people like Bounty Killer have sent out condolences. And of course, Shaggy as well is in deep mourning at this time, because they developed a bond over the last few years, and we're really working on some projects. Recently, they went viral for this, freestyle competition which they hosted, and which basically saw a lot of, up and coming dancehall artists jumping on board and freestyling, to the song, which of course was co-written by Assailant himself. So they were definitely putting in some work and they were making strides, and a productive camp was being built, as it relates to Assailant and a Shaggy combination. So I just want to say once more RIP, and we need to stop this type of thing in dancehall. Dancehall music is becoming like rap. Yep, the same manner in which rap music is seeing their stars being killed in the streets. You know what I mean? This is the same way in which in recent times we have seen a rise in the murders of dancehall artists. Like in the 90s, you know, you would hear one or two dancehall artists being shot, and it would be such a big surprise and a big news everywhere. But now a dancehall artist is being shot or being incarcerated every couple of months. You know what I mean? So it's still not as bad as the hip hop community, but it is bad enough because Jamaica is a small place. You know what I mean? Just over 2.5 million people. You know, so for us to be, you know, making headlines for having dead artists and so forth and incarcerated artists, you know what I mean, we can't allow this to happen. You know what I mean? And I just hope everybody can come together, live as one, peace and unity. You know what I mean? And if you can't talk it out, then walk it out. You know what I mean? It might sound like a cliche, but that is the only way for mankind's survival. I'm out.